Welcome to Unapologetically Badass, the podcast for women over 40 who are done dimming their light. I'm your host, Renee Carbone Fleming, coach, queen, and master of the midlife glow up. Solo chats, epic guests, no filter. Let's freaking go. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another fabulous episode of Unapologetically Badass. I am your host, Renee, and I'm so thrilled to meet up with Amy Lenius. I did pronounce that correctly, right?
Yeah, you know it, but no stress. The world does not revolve around my last name. So
No, but I would never want to get that wrong. Never, never. So we are talking about stop performing success, how to rebuild self-worth, alignment, and real momentum. So Amy, welcome to the show.
thank you so much. I'm so excited for our conversation today.
Yes. So, okay, why don't we start off with what is it that you do?
Yeah, so currently I'm partnered with a company down in the States. I myself am in Canada. So when I say down in the States, it's like, I'm north, they're south. And it's called Next Level University. And it was founded by these two incredible men, actually, Kevin Palmieri and Alan Lazarus. And I initially started working with them as a client. Actually, I had a bunch of my own things. I was doing public speaking mainly on holistic women's health, and I had my own group coaching program. I had my own podcast at the time, so I was teaching women about their cycles, their hormones, their stress, all sorts of things. And then the podcast itself was more based on just the lifestyle of women, and it was called The Evolution of Mom. And so I was a client of Kevin and Alan's at Next Level University because they produce podcasts. They do anything and everything when it comes to podcast production, and that's exactly what I needed. I didn't want to do any of the tech. I wanted to just show up and speak. So they gave me that gift by being able to do that. And then I started working with them as a business client. So Alan is a business coach and things, and just the relationship grew. I started doing anything and everything that they throw out there. They have a free book club. We do a free monthly masterclass, like those kinds of things. And then I sent one of my keynote presentations to Alan one day. It was called Holistic Healing for Your Hormones. And I wanted his actual feedback. It's hard to get feedback unless it's from a fellow public speaker, because a lot of people are not in that space. Mm-hmm. And so he gave me his feedback. It was wonderful. And he's like, you know what? We do a live event every year, and I would love for you to come down and MC and help us throw this live event. And so that was just this evolution of, okay, I've been speaking on these kinds of stages on this kind of topic. Let's see what I can go do in this personal development space. And these guys at the time were talking about holistic self-improvement. And we don't use that language as much now because no one knows what the heck we're talking about. Right. But that's what I fell in love with there, was they were talking about holistic self-improvement being health, wealth, love, and quality of life, and how we need to, be focused on all of them because they all affect each other. And you've read my bio, I grew up very sick. So I fell in love with the word holistic when I was healing and becoming pain-free with my condition. And so I just clicked with them right away. So I went down, did this event, fell in love with spending time with them, their message, what they did. And we crushed the day, the three of us. And it was just this keystone moment of, oh my gosh, this is definitely what is next for me in my future and my evolution of my career and how I can help people. And I love focusing on women and helping them in that. I can't help but bring all of that stuff in. And not only do I still get to do that, I've been more than celebrated by these two amazing dudes to bring that into my platform and their platform. And now I do all sorts of things there. Like you said, I'm a speaker. I'm facilitator of group coaching. The three of us do that together. So it's my favorite. I have my own coaching program through here, and I help with the book clubs, the monthly masterclass, and everything. So in the last 4 years, I've just kind of enmeshed myself into this company, and now am the third face and gets to do all this front facing stuff on behalf of NLU as well. So it's been a really aligned and incredible kind of transition over the last few years.
That's fantastic. Sounds like you have a lot in your plate. But bring us back to, you said you had a condition that you had to overcome, because that was the foundation for you to really dive in and learn more about holistic healing and health and women's health. So what was that?
It was the foundation, I think, that everything is built on. So as crappy of a time that was in my life, I do believe that we can turn pain into purpose. And I think that that's a huge example of that. So I grew up with a condition called endometriosis. So that is a very female-driven, hormone-imbalanced condition. Causes a lot of inflammatory problems, a lot of pain, terrible, irregular, and ridiculous cycles, all sorts of things, infertility. It goes on and on and on, honestly, the different symptoms that can come with that. And so I got diagnosed with that later than I would have liked, but in my late teens. But I started struggling really early on as soon as I started, becoming a woman. And I say that with, a little disdain in my voice, because that was what I heard constantly when I went to the doctors for help. Hey, I'm seeing problems here. This is different than my friends at school. What's going on? Oh, welcome to becoming a woman. This
Right.
is just your life now. Welcome to puberty, all these things. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is
Yeah.
the worst. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And finally I had a doctor listen to me, and you can't diagnose it without surgery. So we had to go in, do a diagnostic surgery. Absolutely had endometriosis, was diagnosed right there. And then, of course, from there, now you're in this box of chronic illness. You're in this box of, okay, you have this chronic illness condition. You're going to be in pain for the rest of your life. You're probably not going to be able to have children. Here's what we can do for you: meds, hormone therapies, surgeries. That's your regimen for the rest of your days.
Wow. So how did you navigate? Like, so then you dove in and said, okay, I'm going to take matters into my own hand and learn alternative ways of living with this?
Yeah, not right away, though. Not
No.
right away. It took me a few years of just being in this space of, okay, well, there's nothing I can do. It
Yeah.
was a very much a victim mindset of, okay, well, I can't do anything about this. There's nothing I can do. It was very disempowered. So I'm just going to do and be on whatever it is they tell me to do, and be on and
Yeah.
do the best that I can
Well,
with
that's
it.
most people. We
Yes.
believe our doctors. We think
Yes.
that they have our best interests and that they know exactly what to do. Well,
Yes.
holy shit that we are. That is fucking wrong.
Oh, it's so wrong. Oh, it's so wrong. And that's probably the first biggest lesson, was that you are a part of your healthcare.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing, that I need to be a partner with other people, with other practitioners in this journey, not just give them all of it.
Mhm.
I need to have, if anything, more responsibility than the people that I'm going to for help. And so after a few years of feeling like shit and side effects from all the drugs I was on, I've already had multiple surgeries. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, we have to do something different, because I feel like crap. I still have all of my pain, and now I'm having all of the side effects that come along with the drugs that I'm on. I need a moment. And so I safely came off of everything just to get to know my body again, see what was going on. This was in my early 20s. And I still had all of my symptoms, but at least I didn't have the drugs and the stuff causing me other problems. And then I myself was in school for anatomy and physiology at the time. And with that, compared with just this, or combined with this natural curiosity that started to happen of, okay, well, here I am in anatomy and physiology for massage therapy practices, for all sorts of different things. And what else is out there then?
Yeah.
What else is out there? So I started just like physiotherapy, acupuncture. I did cranial sacral therapy. There was all sorts of little things I dipped my toe into while I educated myself as well. And with those little things, and just giving my body a break from all of the medications and trying to do things as naturally as I could, we were able to get pregnant with our first child right there. It was
Wow.
amazing. We were actually pregnant right before we got married. So I was pregnant at our wedding. It was a huge part of the celebration, actually, because we were told we wouldn't have kids.
Yeah.
And so that, and then I got really sick again and went back into just doing whatever else I could, found an incredible naturopathic doctor. That was a really big one that changed for me, because he was someone who helped me see more of the holistic aspect to it. Okay, like, yes, everyone wants to talk about your bunk uterus, but let's look at, how's your gut health? How's your liver functioning? How is your stress? How's your sleep? All of these things affect your hormones. And I was like, no one has ever talked to me like a whole person before.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
And your internal life, your internal world is a community. It all works together. And at some point, it's not even about the chicken and the egg. It's about, let's get in there and support one of these systems, because it's going to support the rest.
Mm-hmm.
And so that right there was a huge step when I started supporting my body as a whole, instead of just looking at it piece by piece.
Quick crown check, queen. If you're vibing with this episode, you're exactly the type of badass I built my empire for. Whether you're building your fuck it fund, launching your brand, craving a midlife reinvention, or just want to look and feel like $1 million freaking bucks, I've got you. From merch that speaks your truth to digital tools, coaching, and yes, even collagen that slaps. I serve the sass, the strategy, and the sparkle to help women over 40 take up space and cash checks doing what they love. Head on over to reneecarbonefleming.com or tap the link in the show notes. Pick your flavor of badass and let's turn your midlife into your power era.
And then someone introduced me to the external environment. Okay, now your internal environment interacts with your external environment, like functioning neighboring communities as well. One affects the other so deeply and vice versa. So then I started detoxing my environment of anything that would affect my hormones in a negative way. And through those things, and again, everyone always wants to hear, well, what was the one thing that got you better? Nope, it was a bunch of unsexy fundamentals over time.
Right.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
But over time, I just started becoming pain-free from a condition I was told I would have my whole life. And then I became symptom-free. And then I became even pain-free from periods, pain-free from everything. I had just this flourishing internal hormonal environment. And, I started talking to the women on my table about it, about their cycles and how that, matters in our health as women so much. It's just this next level vital sign that we have. And then I started speaking in the natural wellness space about it, about things that helped me and about routines that helped me, which got into bigger rooms, which got onto stages, which got into, I talked a little bit about the progression of my journey earlier, but that was it. But yeah, things are possible, but I think we need to recognize that it takes time and effort, and we need to give ourselves the grace of those two things.
Yes. And I think luckily nowadays it's more, it's out there. People are recognizing that they have to lead their own health journey and can't rely solely on traditional medicine. Back when I was growing up, we didn't have that. I'm much older than you. Nobody talked about any of this. Nothing. It was like you run blind. If you're sick, you go to the doctor. And then the same thing. Oh, it's your cycle. Like it's okay. Like it's gonna pass. It is what it is. Take some Midol, take some Tylenol, and you'll be fine. Like and I see that with as a mom now. I mean, my oldest daughter has her own issues with the cycle and iron and everything. And when she was younger, we went to the doctor and it's the same thing. But I never pushed to go like we need to go into a holistic route. That was never a conversation, or it wasn't in our sphere of anyone talking about that. I had no idea. And now she's like looking into all of these things because at her age, she wants to eventually have a child and doesn't want any of these things to obviously be, a hindrance. Yeah. But it's sad that not enough people really do talk about this.
Yeah, well, good for her for doing the research that she needs to do. That's really, really important. And I think all young women need to understand the cyclical nature of their body, because we hear that you're a period and then you're not a period. And then you're on your period and then you're not. No, it's a weekly, day-to-day thing for 26 to 34 days. And your period's just a part of it. Right. So when you start to understand your whole cyclical nature that you go through for 26 to 34 days as a woman, it's such an empowering piece of information to know about yourself, even whether you have struggles or not.
Right.
But yeah, becoming empowered in your own body and your own health is such a superpower. And I had the moment when I was really sick. So right before I had my second son, I was really not feeling good and my pain changed and it got different. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not my usual pain, which is a weird thing to say, but that was my life. Oh, this isn't my usual pain. This is a different kind of debilitating pain. What's this? And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So I ended up in the hospital in the ER. And they said, well, it's obviously just your it's your endometriosis flaring up. Here's some pain medication, go home. And I was like, I know my endometriosis pain in and out. I live with it every day. This is different. But again, once you have something, you're put in this box. Yeah. And so I went home, I got even worse, went back. I went back 4 times in a week. And they kept sending me home with heavier drugs, more narcotics, more pain meds. And on the last visit, I had this thing where I said, okay, like I said to my husband, I'm like, don't let me leave. Don't let me leave until someone helps me. I feel like I'm dying. And luckily that night I got a wonderful doctor who was like, "Oh my goodness, you have been in here multiple times this week and you seem to be getting worse. What's going on? Have they done any testing?" Have they? I said, "No, I have done nothing." So he's like, "Okay, well, let's at least get an ultrasound, see what's in there." Go for an ultrasound, can't see anything. They whip me into surgery because I had an ovary cyst burst and
Oh,
not close. I was internally bleeding to death.
oh
And so
my
right
God.
there, after that was all done, surgery's done. The doctor was amazing. He was able to save my ovary. Apparently, the whole back end of it blew out, and he was able to save that. And they went and cleaned up all the extra endometrial tissue in there. So they did that procedure as well, which is again why I was able to have my second son. That's the
Yeah.
beautiful end of this story. But that was the moment where I was like, oh, right. That was that next layer of empowered choice that needed to be made, that I knew my body best.
Yeah.
And even you at home, you know your body best, whether you can articulate it as well as someone else, or it doesn't even matter. You know your body best. You know when something is wrong compared to what feels right for you. And you
Yeah.
have to stand in that. And if someone wants to hand you information like, "Oh, nope, this is just a normal part of being a woman. Oh, nope, that's nothing," go find someone else. Go
Right.
find someone else who will take you seriously, who will run the kinds of tests that you need run. Because even the low iron, you mentioned that with your daughter, that is most women.
Yeah.
That happens regularly. Even if you're doing things about it, if you're not on top of it all the time,
Yeah.
your iron levels will go back down, and you have to go
Mm.
get that checked again and make sure you're on top of that. I just had my levels redone. Turns out, and I knew because I'm so in tune with my hormones for obvious reasons, lots of trauma here. So in tune with my hormones that when something changes and the things that I'm doing don't work as well, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, something. We need to
Yeah.
change what we're doing." And now I myself getting up there, hormones are starting to change, so my regimen needs to start to change, right? And so now that I've known that, again, go get your tests done, go get your levels checked, because there's so much you can do with that information. So be in charge of your body, understand that you know your body best, and then partner with people who make you feel like they're partnered with you and on the journey with you and support you and your vision for your health.
Yes. I love that message. And I really I feel that there's, we talk about the healthcare system is broken. We talk about, insurance companies running healthcare, and that's its own issue. But there's also an aspect of the educational system and what we're not giving our kids. Some, with they're teaching them, and I say they because they're creating the curriculum. There's so many things that they could be adding to add such value to girls' and boys' lives. And back when I was young, granted they didn't do a very good job because a lot of people didn't talk about it, but there was, they did talk about health. There was a health class, but if they really separate it and really dive in and have those conversations, as uncomfortable as it will be for young ones, teens, to talk about that, I think that that's such, again, it's that empowerment. If you need the information so that you're empowered to understand your body and the changes that occur at all aspects. I mean, because you just said like you're in that next phase. I'm 56. I am perimenopausal, and there's a whole lot that happens that nobody told me. And it's like I'm going, wait a minute. I need to go for more blood tests. Now HRT is not Black Label anymore. Maybe I need that. Like, there's so much that education that's not prevalent that really needs to be.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother one. So yes, young ladies going through puberty and things, it's so valuable for them to understand their cycling years. And
Yeah.
then for women at that next stage, that secondary puberty basically that we go through, it's another really important season to understand. So this decade of perimenopause is the highest rate of suicidal action and thought for women. It's the highest rate of divorce. It's the highest rate of like huge detrimental transition in women's lives because no one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't understand themselves. The people around them don't understand why they're so different and things. Your body is learning to recalibrate
Yeah.
without the hormone levels that it's used to having. That is a shit show
Yeah.
of a process.
Uh-huh.
And we were not taught about that either. And
Right.
again, if you know, you can at least communicate about it. You can
Yeah.
at least give yourself understanding and grace and not shame and guilt of what's going on with me. Why do I suck? Why do I feel so unmotivated today? Why am I sweating all over the place? I'm disgusting. Like whatever
Yeah.
terrible narrative that it is that you're telling yourself, if you have the awareness to say, oh, it's because of this, it's a
Yeah.
valid reason. And because there's a valid reason, there's also, I bet you, a million things that I can do to support myself that I can find work for me. And that
Right.
is the challenging part, is we are all unique individuals. Yes, we all go through these processes,
Mhm.
but in a unique way. And so
Yes.
what worked for my endometriosis might
Right.
not work for someone else's, but it doesn't mean that there's something that won't work
Yeah.
or that will work, whatever you want to. It's,
Yes.
there's always something that you can do differently,
Yeah.
better, supportive. Maybe you know we can't stop menopause. It's a
Right.
totally natural process that women
Yeah.
go through. It's actually really, really important, but it's chaos. It's like the
Yeah.
Wild West. We don't know what we're getting. And so the more we have just at our fingertips of acknowledging that this is the season we're in, understanding what to recognize and what to look for so that we can support it and communicate it to those in our lives the best that we can, what a different experience that woman is going to have than the one who doesn't understand what's happening at all.
Yes, absolutely. And you're right. It's no cookie cutter. There's no one size fits all. People ask you, what was the one thing? Give us, like, let me know what's the one. There's not. What I do and what I take for supplements and vitamins that help me so that I am not on prescription medication works for me. May not work for somebody else, but it's people have to stand in their own front seat of their health for sure. So you've gone through all of this. You have managed through all of this. You build other people's businesses through this university and group coaching. Is that your ultimate passion, or what else? Like, there's always something, because I know as an entrepreneur, we're always like, okay, I love this. What
Right.
else am I evolving to? Like, we know that we're continuing to evolve and become the person that he meant us to be. So what is your next level?
Oh, wow. So what you said in the beginning there is there's, what we do and what I do now. It feels very different than what people would have seen me doing beforehand. So it used to come up, Amy Lenius hormones, Amy Lenius hormones. Like that was the thing. That's what I was on stage for and stuff. And it still has a huge piece of my heart. I have a private WhatsApp community for women, and we were talking about different things the other day. It's called Worthy Women's WhatsApp group, and it's dedicated to self-worth.
Mhm.
But we had a hormone question come up the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much to tell all of you. And we went down this rabbit hole, and I can't help but bring it into everything we do, because
Yeah.
regardless of what kind of success journey you're on, success is so subjective. And I think we all need permission in knowing that, right? Success is not a one
Right.
through line
Mhm.
for everybody.
Mhm.
Especially for women, we're so varietal, and we can wear so many different hats, and we need permission to wear all of them if we want to. And so success is so subjective, but it is such a through line of even your success to understand these physical things about yourself, because they affect you mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things. And so I can't help but bring it in. And like I said, these two these two bodybuilder but healthy masculine bros who built this thing from the ground up, Next Level University, have just, like I said, done nothing but celebrate everything I have brought into this space, and then poured into me to be able to expand how I can help people. So the through line of everything I've been able to do and will continue to do is empowering people with information to make their lives better. When I was in high school, I wanted to become a teacher. Well, that's not super true. I wanted to become a mom. That was my
Oh,
answer. But
yeah.
apparently you can't write that down on your papers and be an accepted answer.
I know. Mhm. Mhm.
No, Amy, you have to have a career. I was not career driven back then
Mhm.
whatsoever. I was driven by the idea of becoming a mother. So then when I
Oh,
got sick and I was told I couldn't have kids, that was a very detrimental time for me. I'm happy to, like,
yeah.
you've heard in my story, I had two boys, two beautiful boys now. And so, but when you look back, if you're thinking of maybe the next level of yourself, the next career, the next anything, look back at the
Mhm.
through line of everything that felt aligned, everything that felt great, felt purposeful, felt meaning, really fulfilled you. Every time I look back at everything I've done, there's always been a through line of educating. And I did want to be a teacher when they did finally break me down and make me pick something. But I went around my high school, interviewed all the teachers, and they all said, don't do it. Not one said, yes, become a teacher. It's the best. Nope. They all hated it. So
Yep.
didn't do that.
Yep. And my teacher friends all say the same thing. They've
Yep.
all said it. Don't do it.
Yep. Don't do it. And I get it. You guys don't have enough support. You don't have,
Yep.
it's a disaster. And thank you for doing what you do, but what a
Right.
disaster. It's that. So there's a through line of educating and empowering people to do what they can do to help themselves get
Yeah.
to whatever their version of next level health, success, whatever that is. And so now, even in these last 4 years, to bring in the personal development aspect, to bring in the self-belief, the self-worth, the consistency, and what that takes of you, and how to create that in your life, and to build it into being able to help people professionally as well, building out business funnels, building out flywheels, helping them understand their vision, breaking down their goals and reverse engineering it into habits and all these things. I now have those skills as well, and I'll continue to, like you said, we're growth-oriented people. We will continue to double down on educating all the time, because that's just, you have to do it. It's the best. And so it's just proliferated and grown into this really beautiful thing where I feel like I have the skills now to help people with just about anything. But I love bringing it into the capacity of holistic, because when you're chasing something that is successful as far as monetary wise, it does still affect your health, your relationships, your mentality. You come along with everything that you do, whether it be an entrepreneurial journey or a career in something different. It's whatever it is, you come along with you. And so typically what we find is people come to us for what they want, and it's our job as good coaches to discern what it is that they need to get there. And so identity work has to come along with that. It's not just about, okay, you want to make this much this year doing this. Great. What is it that you don't currently believe, understand about yourself? What you're not there because you understand everything you need to understand and believe everything you need to believe already. Like, then you'd be there. No, we need to bring it back into identity. So you and I were talking quickly before this about the podcast accelerator, our group coaching. We start the 4 weeks off. It's grow yourself.
Yeah.
Always grow yourself. Then it's grow your podcast. Then it's grow your business in 4-week sections. And because you yourself are the foundation of everything that you bring to everything. And so the more you can empower yourself, the more you understand about yourself, others, and the world, how you navigate all 3 of those spaces, it's such a rock solid foundation to build upon when you want to build externally.
That is beautiful. I love the work that you're doing. I love, and we know when our clients succeed, it fills our cup. Like, that is just right. It's just such a great feeling. When people are like, why do you do? I'm like, I would do it. I don't want to do it for free. Yes, we're not non-for-profits, but it's stuff that we talk about because we're passionate about it. We freaking love it. I love women to not feel like they're ever stuck. And I want them to feel empowered that they can do whatever the frick they want when they want to do it and how they want to do it. So yeah, it's wonderful to see your journey and to meet you. And I appreciate you sharing so much about what you went through health-wise, because I know that a lot of women will resonate with that as well. So how can people get a hold of you and get in contact with you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. And I am a very simplistic being. Instagram and Facebook are the easiest and the best. I find them the easiest to navigate. And honestly, I don't have any other social media platforms. So it's just at Amy Lenius. And if you want to private message me, you're getting me in my messages. You're not getting an assistant. You're not getting AI. You do get directly to me, because we deeply believe that community and human connection not only is so important, but it is the future. As we move into more of this digital age and AI and things, I think human connection is going to be the biggest commodity that we can offer. And so you will always get me in my DMs. I'm happy to have conversations with you, answer any questions you have, and have a lovely conversation.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. Please share this with somebody that you know that would love to hear her inspiring story. And go follow Amy on social and connect with her. So everyone, stay tuned for the next Unapologetically Badass. for today, Queen, but don't just walk away inspired, walk away activated. If this episode lit a fire under your fabulous ass, hit that follow button, leave a review, and share it with your fiercest ride or die. Your support helps this podcast reach even more women who are ready to reclaim their power. And hey, if you're ready to look, feel, and earn like $1,000,000 freaking bucks, I've got an entire badass empire waiting for you. From confidence boosting merch to brand strategy, coaching, collagen content, and everything in between, head on over to reneecarbonefleming.com or tap the link in the show notes. Pick your flavor of badass and let's turn midlife into your power era. Stay bold, stay unapologetic, and wear the damn crown.